Welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are moving on to the next episode in my category breakdown series, and in this video we're taking a look at the best shorts categories. If you're new to the series or new to the channel, there is a playlist so you can go back and watch any of the previous episodes in this series, but basically all this is just in each video we take a look at individual categories at the upcoming Academy Awards, and then talk about the nominees and those that are specifically nominated in those categories, talk about some facts about them, and talk about the films in general, and then I give you my personal ranking and my prediction for how likely it is that I think they win the Academy Award on March 2nd. Now, if you're newer to Oscar season in general, you may not know these three categories, the shorts categories, they're definitely the least known and the least underappreciated of all of the categories. There are three different categories for best documentary shorts, best animated shorts, and live action shorts. In this video, we're going to go over all 15 of the films that are nominated in those three categories. Now, obviously, if you've seen any of the previous videos, you know that I like to ramble and like to go on long tangents about these films. So in this video, because there are 15 different films that we're talking about, really all we're going to do is we're just going to go through quick reviews of each of these. Just going to talk about those that are nominated, give my quick Letterboxd review, which, if you're interested, my Letterboxd is always in the description of all the videos on my channel. If you want to go see my reviews there, we're just going to go over those reviews, and then we are still going to finish within each category, ranking them for my personal ranking and my prediction. So without further ado, let's take a look at the nominees. First up is the documentary shorts category. The first nominee is Death by Numbers. 4 years after being shot with an AR-15 in her high school, Samantha Fuentes reckons with existential questions of hatred and justice as she prepares to confront her shooter. This is the first Oscar nomination for both Kim A. Snyder and Janique L. Robillard. Death by Numbers is a painful look at a tragedy that happens far too often in America. The documentary makes some stylistic decisions regarding the shooter that I think would have worked better if we didn't give him any attention, and instead focused more on the victims. I watched all the shorts at the same time, so I will say the ending of this documentary did affect me more after having just watched I Am Ready, Warden. For my personal ranking, I'm putting Death by Numbers in 4th, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 3rd. The next nominee is I Am Ready, Warden. In the days leading up to his execution, Texas death row prisoner John Henry Ramirez seeks redemption from his victim's son, an elegy about the death penalty where a prisoner seeks forgiveness. This is the second Oscar nomination for Smriti Mundhra. She was also nominated for Best Documentary Short in 2020 for St. Louis Superman. This is the first Oscar nomination for Maya Gnip. The documentary does an excellent job at presenting all sides of the death penalty. The film doesn't ask you to take a side, but instead lets you internalize your feelings and grapple with the complex emotions. While I think it's important to show how many people are affected by this, I Am Ready, Warden doesn't have enough time to explore as many people as it tries to. For my personal ranking, I'm putting I Am Ready, Warden in 3rd, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 2nd. The next nominee is Incident. Chicago, 2018. A man is killed by police on the street. Through a composite montage of images from surveillance and security footage, as well as police body cams, Incident recreates the events and its consequences, featuring vain justifications, altercations, and attempts to avoid blame. Bill Morrison delivers a chilling political investigation in search of the truth. This is the first Oscar nomination for both Bill Morrison and Jamie Calvin. Incident is a masterclass in editing to tell a story. The film is able to use multiple body cams, cell phones, and security cameras to capture the whole story, and does an excellent job of lining them all up so we can see everything happening in real time. The film is a maddening look at a tragedy that didn't need to happen, and the reactions from the cops in the aftermath is beyond upsetting. For my personal ranking, I'm putting Incident in 1st, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 4th. The next nominee is Instruments of a Beating Heart. First graders in a Tokyo public elementary school are presented with a challenge for the final semester, performing Ode to Joy at the ceremony for the new incoming first graders. Ayame, who often struggles to keep up with the group, is determined to play a major part, the big drum. This is Eric Nyari's second Oscar nomination. He was also nominated for Best Documentary this year for Black Box Diaries. This is Emma Ryan Yamazaki's first Oscar nomination. Instruments of a Beating Heart is an inspirational story of perseverance. In the limited time that we get to spend with Ayame, you care for her so much and you are rooting for her to succeed. The scene with her mother and the last scene with her teacher were so beautiful they moved me to tears. For my personal ranking, I'm putting Instruments of a Beating Heart in 2nd, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 5th. And the final nominee is The Only Girl in the Orchestra. trailblazing double bassist Oren O'Brien never wanted the spotlight, but when Leonard Bernstein hired her in 1966 as the first female musician in the New York Philharmonic, it was inevitable that she would become the focus of much interest and fascination. Now 87 years old and recently retired, Oren looks back at her remarkable life and career, insisting that a fuss should not be made, much preferring to play a supporting role to the family, students, friends, and colleagues that surround her. This is the first Oscar nomination for both Molly O'Brien and Lisa Remington. Documentaries about a specific person often idolize their subject and use the film as an opportunity to champion them. While Molly O'Brien certainly tries to here, the film mostly works due to her aunt, Oren O'Brien, insisting that she is just part of the orchestra and doesn't want the spotlight. Being readily available on Netflix, I think will lead to this being the frontrunner and my prediction to win. For my personal ranking, I'm putting The Only Girl in the Orchestra in 5th, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 1st. The next category is Best Animated Short. The first nominee is Beautiful Men. Three balding brothers travel to Istanbul to get a new hair transplant. Stuck with each other in a hotel far from home, their insecurities grow faster than their hair. This is the first Oscar nomination for both Nicholas Keppens and Brecht van Elsland. Beautiful Men has some moments that work for me visually in the animation style, but the story as a whole didn't really work for me. I wanted to feel for the characters, but just wasn't able to connect with them on any sort of an emotional level. The stop-motion animation is impressive and is the best part of the film. For my personal ranking, I'm putting Beautiful Men in 5th, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 3rd. The next nominee is In the Shadow of the Cypress. A former captain, suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, lives with his daughter in a humble house located by the sea. Together they live an isolated life and have to confront the challenges of a harsh life. Despite the captain's deep desire to be a devoted and caring father, he finds himself unable to fulfill his role and connect with his daughter in the way he longs to. One morning, their lives change forever when an unforeseen event occurs. Whether this event proves to be a newfound source of hope or an additional burden remains to be seen. This is the first Oscar nomination for both Shirin Sahani and Mohsin Molayemi. As far as ranking these films based on the animation alone, In the Shadow of the Cypress was my favorite by far. Being able to stylize the animation as a way to tell the narrative in lieu of dialogue was very impressive. Beyond the animation style, I was emotionally moved by the story about a father, a daughter, and a whale. For my personal ranking, I'm putting In the Shadow of the Cypress in 1st, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 4th. The next nominee is Magic Candies. The other kids never asked Dong Dong to play, but he's fine just playing marbles on his own. Until one day he buys a bag of colorful candies and begins to discover new voices and perspectives. This is the first Oscar nomination for both Daisuke Nishio and Takashi Washio. Magic Candies has some stiffness to the animation style that really works for me, that makes a lot of shots look like paintings. The script is a cute and unique story that charmed me. There is a moment with his dog that I think could have had a bigger emotional punch than it did, but it's still a fun time. For my personal ranking, I'm putting Magic Candies in 2nd, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 5th. The next nominee is Wander to Wonder. In the 1980s, Mary, Billy Budd, and Fumbleton starred in the children's television program Wander to Wonder. They are left alone in the studio after the show's originator passed away. This is the first Oscar nomination for both Nina Gantz and Stanette Boxlopper. Wander to Wonder has a very unique premise, taking something as sweet and innocent as a children's television program and showcasing it in a darker light. While I liked the idea of it, I didn't end up liking it as much as I hoped I would. Having already won for Best Animated Short at the BAFTAs, as well as some other precursors, it feels impossible to predict something else to win. For my personal ranking, I'm putting Wander to Wonder in 3rd, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 1st. And the final nominee is Yuck. Yuck. Couples kissing on the mouth are gross, and the worst is, you can't miss them. When people are about to kiss, their lips become all pink and shiny. Little Leo laughs at them, just like all the kids at the summer camp. But he has a secret he won't tell his friends. His own mouth has actually begun glistening, and, in reality, Leo desperately wants to give kissing a try. This is the first Oscar nomination for Loa Caspucci and Juliette Marquette. Yuck is a charming coming-of-age story told right at the awkward age before adolescence. The animation adding very limited details on the background works well to contrast the impressive details on the character designs. While this didn't completely win me over, I can see how this is one of the consensus favorites amongst everyone else. For my personal ranking, I'm putting Yuck in 4th, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 2nd. And the last category is Best Live Action Short. The first nominee is Alien. On the day of their green card interview, a young couple confronts a dangerous immigration process. This is the first Oscar nomination for Sam Cutler Cruz and David Cutler Cruz. Alien is an infuriating look at the uncompassionate and inhumane immigration process in the United States. Inspired by real events, the film is an important story that is relevant in the times we are living in. The film has the advantage in the category as the only film entirely in English, which is often a good indicator as to what the winner in the category will be. For my personal ranking, I'm putting Alien in first, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in first. The next nominee is Anuja. When a brilliant 9-year-old working in a sweatshop gets a chance to attend school, she must make a difficult choice for her and her sister's future. This is the first Oscar nomination for both Adam J. Graves and Suchitra Matai. While Anuja didn't completely work for me, I have to give a ton of credit to both Saja Pathan and Anina Schonbag. Their acting is some of the best in the category. The story is a little formulaic, but it does have an excellent scene with a chase in a store. For my personal ranking, I'm putting Anuja in 5th, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 3rd. The next nominee is I'm Not a Robot. A music producer spirals into an existential crisis after repeatedly failing a CAPTCHA test, leading her to question whether she might actually be a robot. This is the first Oscar nomination for both Victoria Warmerdam and Trent. The premise of someone discovering that they may be a robot due to not being able to pass a CAPTCHA test might be one of the funniest bits I've heard. Unfortunately, nothing else in I'm Not a Robot lived up to that moment for me. The film finishes on an interesting note. I just wish it was a little longer to fully flesh it out. For my personal ranking, I'm putting I'm Not a Robot in 3rd, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 5th. The next nominee is The Last Ranger. When young Lithia is introduced to the magic of a game reserve by the last remaining ranger, they are ambushed by poachers. In the ensuing battle to save the rhinos, Lithia discovers a terrible secret. This is the first Oscar nomination for both Cindy Lee and Darwin Shaw. Undoubtedly the best shot film in the shorts category, the cinematography and landscapes are beautiful. Leobono Marcosa is incredible throughout the film, but he really has the most emotionally impactful scene I've seen in a while, and he knocks it out of the park. The Last Ranger is a part of an anthology series called When the World Stopped, and I would love to check out the remainder of the series. For my personal ranking, I'm putting The Last Ranger in 2nd, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 4th. And the final nominee is The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. The film follows a passenger train traveling from Belgrade in Serbia to Bar in Montenegro. The train is stopped by armed Serbian paramilitary forces at a small station in Stripci in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Having received a tip-off that there are Muslim passengers on the train, they found 19 of them, took them off the train, and executed them shortly after the train departed. About 500 passengers witnessed the event, but no one dared to stand up to them, except for one man, a retired military officer, Tomo Buzov, on his way to visit his son. This is the first Oscar nomination for both Nebojša Slizapetrović and Daniel Peck. The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent is very quick and efficient in its storytelling. The speed at which a seemingly normal day turns very intense is what makes the story so impactful. Based on a true story, the decision to depict our protagonist as the one brave person to stand up and not focus on the aftermath was a nice way to remember him. For my personal ranking, I'm putting The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent in 3rd, and for my prediction, I'm putting it in 2nd. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought of the short films nominated this year. If you had the opportunity to see any of them or all of them, let me know what your thoughts on them are. And also, if you would like to like this video and then subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos in the category breakdown series. There is actually only one left, but if you don't want to miss that one video, you can subscribe to the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.